The silence of the tribal chief, the untold story behind Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and the bloodline betrayal. The tension in the WWE Universe has reached an unimaginable level. And at the center of it all, is silence. A chilling, cold silence from the man who once spoke with dominance, with an iron will, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. But now, he lets others do the talking, and the hurting. Monday Night Raw was supposed to be just another night of wrestling drama. But backstage, something happened that shocked everyone, because this wasn't just any ambush. This was a declaration. A statement. A warning. But the real story? The story that WWE cameras didn't catch. It's what came after the chaos. The moment when Big Jimmy, the heart and soul of the bloodline, confronted Roman Reigns one-on-one, away from the lights, away from the cameras, away from the roar of the crowd. Two men. Two brothers by blood and bond. Standing face to face, wrestling with emotions and questions that have been simmering for months. Jey Uso, the lone warrior walking a tightrope. The saga begins with Jey Uso, the younger brother of Jimmy Uso and a man who had slowly begun to distance himself from the bloodline. Once a loyal soldier under the tribal chief's command, Jey's recent choices set him on a dangerous path. He tried to go solo. To carve out his own identity separate from the shadows of Roman and Jimmy. The WWE Universe responded, fans loved the fire and spirit Jey brought to the ring. But in WWE, fire often attracts enemies. One of those enemies was closer than he thought, Seth Rollins. A cunning opportunist who never forgets a slight and always waits for the perfect moment to strike. When Jey accidentally cost Braun Breaker his championship opportunity, Seth's grudge deepened, and the bloodline was watching. The tension in backstage corridors, the sidelong glances, the whispered conversations. It all built to a breaking point. The ambush, a perfect storm of betrayal. Then it happened. Seth Rollins, master manipulator, baited Jey into a false sense of security. And just as Jey turned his back, like a dagger in the dark, the ambush began. But Seth Rollins wasn't alone. Paul Heyman was there, lurking with a knowing smile that sent chills down the spines of everyone who saw it. And then, with explosive force, Braun Breaker crashed through a production crate like a missile with a single purpose, destruction. The target was clear, Jey Uso. The beatdown was brutal, merciless. Braun Breaker slammed Jey's leg against the cold steel steps, sending a shockwave of agony through his body. Jey was gasping, reaching out desperately for help, but no one came. Except one man stood nearby, silent and unmoved. Roman Reigns. The head of the table. Leaning casually against a black SUV, arms crossed, Roman watched it all unfold, cold, distant, and unmoved. 20 feet away, the bloodline patriarch witnessed the complete dismantling of his own cousin, and said absolutely nothing. The moment of humanity, Jey's silent plea. But then, in a moment frozen in time, everything changed. Jey, broken, bleeding, and trembling with pain, looked up. Their eyes locked. For a fleeting moment, something raw and human passed between them. And with a voice barely above a whisper, Jey gasped. Please. Not begging for mercy. Not pleading for rescue. But searching for humanity in the man who once called himself family. Roman, adjusting his diamond-encrusted tribal chief pendant, offered no reply. He simply turned his back, and walked away. Behind him, Braun Breaker locked in a Steiner recliner that echoed through the halls like a thunderclap, sending Jey's body crashing down into agony. And then, the silence returned. What happened next? The fallout behind closed doors. The cameras cut away, but the story didn't end there. The backstage corridors of WWE hide secrets and stories unseen by the public eye. Big Jimmy Uso, the Rock of the Bloodline, confronted Roman Reigns in private. No cameras. No audience. Just two brothers, blood and bond, locked in the most intense conversation the bloodline has faced in months. What was said in that moment? What truths were spoken? What questions left hanging? In this video, Wrestling News CC is going to take you behind the scenes to uncover everything we know about that explosive confrontation, the fractures in the bloodline, and what the future holds for WWE's most dominant faction. The bloodline's fracture, brother against brother. The bloodline once stood as an unbreakable force. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, was not just a leader, he was a king who commanded loyalty and respect. But even kings can fall. Jey Uso's growing independence threatened the unity Roman demanded. Big Jimmy Uso, caught in the middle, faces his own battle, between loyalty to family and the desire to protect his brother. The backstage meeting between Jimmy and Roman reportedly was heated. Voices raised. Words exchanged with raw emotion. Sources close to WWE say Jimmy demanded answers. Why did Roman watch as Jey was attacked and say nothing? Why did the tribal chief allow this betrayal to go unchecked? Roman's answer. Cold and firm, sometimes, leadership means making sacrifices. Sometimes, the family must be broken to survive. What does this mean for the bloodline? With Jey Uso injured and Roman Reigns distant, cracks have appeared in the once unshakable bloodline. The WWE Universe watches closely. Will the brothers unite to overcome this darkness, or will the bloodline crumble from within? What role will Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker play in this growing feud? And most importantly, how will Roman Reigns respond now that the silence has been broken? The legacy of the bloodline, roots and rivalries. To truly understand the gravity of what's unfolding, we have to look back at the foundation of the bloodline. Roman Reigns didn't rise to power overnight. His path was shaped by a legacy deeply rooted in the Naomi family, a wrestling dynasty that has dominated WWE for decades. The bloodline was more than just a faction, it was a symbol of family pride, loyalty, and unyielding dominance. Roman became the tribal chief by asserting himself as the alpha male, demanding respect not only from WWE superstars but from his own blood. Jey and Jimmy Uso, the dynamic duo known as the Usos, pledged their allegiance to Roman, standing as his enforcers and brothers in arms. But loyalty in WWE is often tested. And the recent events have shattered the illusion of unbreakable unity. Jey Uso's journey, from loyal soldier to rebel. Jey's journey has been heartbreaking and inspiring all at once. At first, he was Roman's loyal second-in-command, carrying out orders and protecting the bloodline's dominance. But over time, cracks appeared. Jey wanted more than to be just a soldier. He wanted to write his own story. To step out of Roman's shadow. Fans witnessed this transformation live, Jey wrestling with his identity, showing flashes of rebellion and independence. His matches took on a new intensity, his promos became more personal, and his attitude reflected a man at war with himself. But WWE's world is ruthless, and Jey's break from the bloodline painted a target on his back. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, the new threats. Enter Seth Rollins, a man who has danced between hero and villain for years. Seth sees opportunity where others see risk. When Jey distanced himself, Seth saw a chance to exploit vulnerabilities within the bloodline. With calculated precision, Seth worked to isolate Jey, manipulating backstage politics and orchestrating chaos. But the most dangerous piece in this puzzle is Braun Breaker. A powerhouse with raw talent and a fierce desire to make his mark, Braun is more than just muscle, he's a force of nature. His brutal assault on Jey was a message to the bloodline, no one is untouchable. Together, Seth and Braun have formed a tempest that threatens to destroy the bloodline from within. The private confrontation, Jimmy versus Roman. Now, the heart of the story, the confrontation between Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns. Wrestling insiders tell us this was a defining moment, one that could reshape the bloodline's future. Jimmy, the elder brother and voice of reason, demanded answers. Why did Roman stand silent while Jey was beaten? Was Roman protecting the family, or did he see Jey as expendable? Roman's response was icy. Leadership, he said, sometimes requires sacrifice. Jimmy's faith in Roman wavered. The brothers argued about loyalty, honor, and the true meaning of family. Some say Jimmy challenged Roman's authority outright. Others say it was a desperate plea to save what was left of the bloodline. Regardless, it was clear, the family's foundation was cracking. Fan reactions and social media frenzy. The WWE Universe exploded with speculation and debate. The WWE Universe is on edge. Roman Reigns' silence speaks volumes. The bloodline's future is uncertain. But one thing is clear, in WWE, family is complicated, loyalty is tested, and the line between brotherhood and betrayal is razor-thin. Stay tuned to Wrestling News CC as we continue to bring you the latest, the deepest, and the most explosive stories from the world of professional wrestling. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.